in the developing world are a whole list of problems. And if you take just one of those problems off the list and try to treat it, what you're likely to find is it gets overwhelmed by the other problems on the list. And so what you need is something that makes progress across the board. That something is women's education.
Welcome to the Asian University for Women.
The idea of AUW really sprang from reflections on two sets of problems. One is the challenge of development. How do you usher development? The other is, how do you begin to overcome the long history of neglect of women's status in the region?
Women face tremendous barrier from within, because that's how they're brought up, that don't do this, don't do that. That's what they're up against all the time since their birth. So for them to even think big, that is a big thing.
So maybe we need... I am Rimu Boddo from Bangladesh. I sat for the entrance test for AUW. Now I am here and I am really happy and I am really proud. I am from the village called Shantiniketan and this is my home. In this room, this is only our room. And in another room, my uncle. In this room, my uncle, like this. When I grew up, we were 5 members in this room. My mother was the eldest daughter of my grandparents. So she had to take care of like my maternal uncles, maternal aunties. So she couldn't continue her studies, couldn't go to college because of poverty. She studied up to class 8 and now I am studying in AUW and she's very happy about it. Yeah, she's telling that she felt really proud when I got accepted for AUW.
In some ways, I think we think of the Asian University for Women as a place where you're not only inclined and encouraged to dream big about the change that must happen to save this world, but also you have a particular knack for figuring out what needs to be done. The Asian University for Women is really focused on the idea of creating a cadre of leaders. What a leader most needs is really in the ability to critically think and solve problems.
Most of the impact about the Western culture.
The normal university educational system in this part of the world is either a 3-year or 4-year undergraduate program. In our case, we are providing a liberal arts program for the first 3 years and then a 2-year professional master's program. We do want our students to be able to go out and find themselves a job.
My long-term goal is to establish a bank. The bank's name will be Farmers and Fishermen's Bank, FFB, because in the southern part of Sri Lanka, there are a lot of farmers and the fishermen. So if I can do something for my people, my community, I think it would be great.
We have women from a lot of different cultural backgrounds. And it's important that they be in a very safe environment, and an environment where they can feel confident in expressing themselves and not getting into trouble for voicing an opinion.
When I first arrived in this university, I was totally different. Being an introvert person, I really have a hard time coping with a different person. But being here in a diverse culture, I'm more confident and I like it the way I'm now.
Part of the power of the model at AUW is networking and the ability to find jobs and the ability to know people that you can call and have constructive conversations with. It just multiplies year after year.
You need to write summaries of the arguments for...
The students are so enthusiastic. They're constantly wanting to learn everything that you have to offer to them. And I have never seen such cooperative students ever, anywhere.
Are you wondering
what all these Indians, Bangladeshis, Vietnamese, Bhutanese and Nepalis are doing here? To work hard.
So this is like a great experiment in intercultural living at this campus. In many of these countries where we recruit, of course, have conflicts, inter-ethnic conflicts. So for example, in Sri Lanka, we brought in students from the Tamil and from the Sinhalese communities.
I'm Linda from the southern part in Sri Lanka, and I'm a Sinhalese, the majority part of the Sri Lanka.
I'm Chelvi. I'm originally from the northern part of Sri Lanka, and I'm a Tamil. It's the minority.
There were a lot of conflicts between Sinhalese and Tamils, and before I came here, I thought all the Tamil peoples are terrorists.
Many of them had actually not met someone else from the other community before in their own countries.
But after coming here, after living with her for more than 6 months, then I understood she's a human being, not a terrorist. And then I think the process started.
We thought about what country to put AUW in. We settled on Bangladesh for a couple reasons. They were willing to grant us a charter that gives us complete academic and institutional autonomy. And I think it's very important if you're going to have a world-class university that you have that autonomy. Reason number two is that they were quite enthusiastic and they were willing to give us a very nice piece of land.
It's a hilly area with lots of trees, and in that natural environment they will be at peace and they will be able to concentrate fully on their learning.
We don't have a campus per se at this moment. What we do have is really a series of apartment buildings which have been converted into classrooms, labs, student dormitories that make do as a campus while we wait for the real campus to emerge in a few years.
Everybody recognizes that a peaceful, stable, prosperous Asia would be very good for living standards across the globe, not just for the region. And it's not just economic improvement, but political stability is a key factor as well. Why invest in AUW? You can change the world for just a little bit of money. It's the greatest impact for your philanthropic dollar that you can imagine.
My name is Chogil Wangmo. I'm from Dashigang, Bhutan. With my education, I want to become a good teacher.
My name is Iitu. I'm from Mektila, Myanmar. With my education, I like to be a social worker.
My education, I want to be an environmental engineer. I would like to develop the information technology among the war-affected children in my country.
I want to help young women in Cambodia to get higher education.
I would like to make the Bangladeshi woman independent and confident.
I would like to promote sustainable education in my community.
I want to empower the women of my community.
To develop the lifestyle of orphans.
I want to change people's attitude towards nature.
To help the poor people in my community.
My education, I want to serve humankind.